Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Finn, and as always I hope you're having a great day. We're going to start a brand new series playing RimWorld. We are going to try and make it as hard as possible, which won't be too hard because I'm not great at this game, but I think we're going to have a bit of fun along the way. We're going to do a few episodes and try and last as long as we can. We are doing Naked and Brutality, and we are playing all the DLC apart from the latest one. So let's get into it, shall we? Naked Brutality. Yes, we're gonna do Cassandra, Strive to Survive, reload at any time, because obviously if I don't hit record and do 5 episodes I'm gonna be pissed. So it needs to be, I need to be able to reload when I can. Yep, we'll generate this and see what we get. We want to try and find a place that's probably a little bit deserty, as that will make it a little bit harder, but I don't want complete desert because again I will not last 5 seconds. But where else can we go? Let's have a look. Temperate forest, it'll be too easy I think. Shrubland is actually probably a good shout. Let's have a quick look. We want to be close to some sort of people to trade. Here doesn't seem too bad. We're not too far off from some Imperials and some other guys up here. So yeah, this seems like a good shout. Let's just have a quick look. So yeah, around 24 to 30 degrees, forageable fruit. This seems like an ideal place. Dry, but not dry enough to be a desert. So let's go for this. We won't bother with religion. We'll just keep it nice and classic. So we'll use prepare carefully. This is Hans Cannon. He is an apocalypse survivor. He was born during a time of unset on his homeworld due to climate change threatening mass starvation, which has given him a +4 shooting. Artistic and intelligence aren't great, although he is tough and nimble. He's got a left arm old gunshot wound, which will affect him somewhat, but we hope not too much. Overall, he seems a fitting candidate for our Let's Play. He's also got an old relationship with Cassie World, so let's see how that plays into things. So let's get into it. So welcome to episode 1. Hans has just landed, so let's check out the planet. So we've got some wildlife around. Some ostriches, some emus. We've got some structures up here of possibly a previous city. Man-made, we could definitely probably break some of that down. We've got some berries around. We've got some scrap metal or steel, which will be useful. We've got some sort of man-made structure down here. I wonder if that would be worth exploring at some point, maybe not early on. I've noticed that we've got some fertile land. Shame, unfortunately, none of that is in the middle. That would have been helpful, but nonetheless, we do have some. What else do we have around? Some rocks, some mining potential. Yep. So that's the map. That's the map. Let's look at Hans. Obviously we've got the old gunshot wound to the left arm, uncovered groin, which is presenting giving us a -4. It's currently 23 degrees outside, so warm and summer, which is helpful, and nothing else noteworthy at the moment other than extremely low expectations and initial optimism. So what's first? First things first, we need to I wonder, as we've got this structure here already, if we don't just try and use this as a little base, which means we can probably break down some of these columns. Let's claim the doors as well, otherwise they will not shut. So Hans is going to start breaking some of this down, and we're going to use it to enclose ourselves, just to give us that bit of protection. We will put a fire in the middle, which will be useful to start cooking our food, and also a sleeping spot. Because it's quite warm outside, I wonder if we'll put it close by first and see how that goes. We will drop down a butcher's spot and a crafting spot, and Hans is going to continue to break down some of these walls. So slate, we'll need to build a little stockpile. We're going to put that right here, and the dumping pile we'll put outside, which will mean that we can hopefully build some slate walls. Yes. So that will be one of our main tasks. And we've already got a table, which will be helpful. I need to be careful that Hans doesn't focus on this all day long, because we will need to get a source of food sorted out pretty quickly. He's got a construction of 3.4, so he's got quite a basic familiarity to building, which will be helpful for us. We've got a crafting of 5, which means we should be able to build a crossbow pretty much straight away, bow, which we will need. We'll get some figs as well, and some berries. So Hans is going to haul some slate. So as the day gets on, Hans is a little bit hungry, so we're going to let him finish this last little deconstruction and then get him to grab himself some figs. And as Hans sets off to find some figs, he's found himself a nice little tree. Nutrition of 2. Okay. And Hans has managed to pick himself some lovely figs, which will help with his food. So we've got 19 figs. As they are unroofed, they'll only last for 10 days, which is not too bad because normally food lasts a lot shorter. So let's get to building the rest of it. Hans has decided enough's enough and has tucked in for the night. Well, given the unsightly environment and unfulfilled recreation, uncovered groin, ate without a table, he's got some minor negatives to his mood, but the lovely fruit he ate earlier on has given him a +3. So let's carry on in the morning, and as the morning draws in, Hans will get a few more bits of shut-eye. Before waking up, we may ask Hans to try and fill some of his recreation. So he's going to go cloud watching for the morning, just to relax after yesterday, as his hands are no doubt aching after all that construction work. And as Hans finishes the cloud watching, he goes back to work. However, we are going to try and get him to get some wood in and get ourselves a bow, because the fence could be an issue. But figs for breakfast. And we will make the most. If Hans' good mood, let's get some further trees in. Haul some of this wood in and get some last minute berries while he can. So to build a short bow, we will need 30 wood, and we currently have 51. So we're going to get Hans to focus on that short bow, because that will be paramount to our survival. And Hans has spent the majority of the morning making this bow, and it is of poor quality and can only amount damage of 11, but he has the distance, so this will be great for us. We may also want to put down a spike trap to draw someone in if we need to. That will require 45 wood. We've currently got 2, so it will need to get a bit more in. Hans is going to kind of finish the rest of the wall. However, he's just botched a few things. So as evening draws in, Hans will make the most of getting some wood and any extra daylight, and harvest some figs for supper, which he will eat out in the open. And after enjoying a nice meal, Hans will head back and hit the hay. He feels grimy, so he's getting another bit of negative, so we'll have to sort out some hygiene. We are using the hygiene mod, but we can put a well straight inside, which will be helpful. And we will put a toilet outside. Both will require wood, which, as we're in this kind of shrubbery desert, we don't have much of. And as the next day starts, we will try and finish some of these walls. Hans is going to relax socially on his own for the moment to try and build up any recreation he can. We may need to build Hans some sort of horseshoe. Give him something to increase his recreation as best we can. Hans has just brought back a limestone urn, which we may install just to try and increase some of the beauty of the building, which will be helpful for Hans' mood. We have now a new well, which is part of the hygiene mod, which I'll put in the description. And Hans continues to deconstruct some of this slate, which will be important for our base. We'll allow Hans to finish this. And during that time, Hans has reached construction level 5, which will be very good and speed-wise for building. Hans are going to spend the evening relaxing socially, and at that same time we have got some visitors from the Orange Cave pack who look like they have got some items to trade, so we will look at that. Unfortunately, we do not have too much to trade at this point, but we will see if they have anything of use or think that we do. So unfortunately, no, they are not willing to trade anything that we have. Nonetheless, we'll let them hang around. And Has will spend the evening sleeping after a long day's work. Tomorrow we'll continue to try and finish some of the walls. And that'll be it from the Orange pack. They will leave in the middle of the night. Well, Hans is getting some good shut-eye. And as a new day starts, Hans will start the morning by having a wash, which will increase his mood as he'll feel clean. And he'll go back to building the slate wall as Hans finishes the last of the deconstruction. And during that time we've now got a mad hare, so we're going to be a bit careful. And here it comes. We've stunned it, and we will finish that hare off. We've taken medium damage. We've got a bite to our left leg, which is causing some small bleeding, so we will tend to that immediately, as we do not want to get an infection. But that has given us our first meal. What's left of it after a good battering from Hans' bloody bow. Hans will spend the next hour fixing himself up. As much as Hans would like to sleep and rest after his ordeal, we should actually get him some food, because malnutrition will hit harder than lack of sleep. And Hans will butcher his dead hare in the evening, and we have some sleep left, which will allow us to do a bit of hunting while we can. Once we find a willing participant, let's zoom out. Aha. So as Hans carefully approaches our little iguana friend here, we will try and get nice and close and get a perfect shot. And that is a hit. And we have killed an iguana again, which will give us a bit more meat back home. But we will allow Hans to go to sleep and deal with that in the morning. And as morning arises, Hans goes out for some dates for his first meal. And he will need to prioritize some wood chopping in order that we can get the campfire up and running and start to cook some of this meat. But Hans is going to start off by playing a bit of horseshoe to increase his recreation. doesn't seem to be the best shot, but happy nonetheless. And Hans will bring that wood in, and has botched a few more jobs. But we do have a working toilet now, and we will prioritize refueling the campfire to cook some of this meat. Hans will cook himself a simple meal. And we'll look at skinning our little iguana friend. And let's give us some further meat and some leather and skin. And ideally we could build some form of chair which will allow us to eat at a table. We will build this out of steel, given that is the easiest resource available to us. Hans is reasonably hot, and that's because we've got a fire going in 20 degrees heat. So we've had someone offer to try and join the colony. Kitty has arrived. We don't know much about Kitty. And if we send away, we will experience a penalty. So we're going to allow her to join. She's vegetarian. Actually, as a vegetarian, I think it's going to be more hassle than it's worth. Because we're going to be surviving on a meat-based diet out here in the forest, in the desert. Sorry. So we're gonna postpone it for now, and let's see what happens. And Hans will continue to cook some simple meals, and he will spend the rest of the evening sleeping off a long day's hard work. And as the night draws in, the fire wears out. And as morning rises, Hans has woken up particularly hungry, but luckily we have got a few meals there left. Hans will nip to the loo before having breakfast. We note that we still have a wooden spike track that we must get up and running to give us that extra bit of protection. Hans is eating his first meat-based meal of the day. And Hans goes back to construction of these walls. And during that time we've also had a skill raise to level 6, which has given us the ability to be a capable amateur. And Hans is relaxing socially for a little bit. And we need a little bit more steel so we can finish off our chair, which will allow us to eat at the table, which will negate that negative effect on our food. We have decided to reject Kitty at this time, and as we've done that, we've been raided by a group of wasters who is currently carrying a wooden mace, which is poor, and it seems to be attacking more or less straight away. Now this is the point where we should have fixed that trap, but we didn't. So let's see how this works out for us. Unlikely to be well. We've hit him. We're going to have to run it perfect. We've got off a good hit there. And we're going to just see what clothes he has on him. He has a cloth duster. We will be taking that because we have got an uncovered groin. So let's strip him for clothes. And put on our duster. And some muffalo. Although that will cover our groin, no doubt it will be warm. And we will have a cigarette to celebrate. And as we smoke our cigar slash weed over Eddie's body, who's in intense pain. But unfortunately, that's what you get when you come. And Eddie will crawl away in absolute agony and soon to be death in 9 hours. So I believe it's time that we put Eddie out of his misery with a missed shot. And we've hit his back. And that is the end of Eddie. Unfortunately, we have a bloody mess outside of our base, so we will need to consider how we're going to get rid of that body. It's possible that we use a burn pit, although I think we need resources to use it. So it might be best that we just dig a hole. Or better still, make a pile over there for bodies. And as we put Eddie's body over there, we will haul these items. And that will likely be it for the day. And it does illustrate the point that we need to get that trap up and running as soon as possible. But not just yet. Eddie will call that a day after his first raid, surviving it. And I think that is a good point to cut that there. Eddie's done well. He's got himself a little base, although we haven't established any source of food yet properly. So that will be episode 2, no doubt. And no doubt we will need to survive some greater trials and tribulations. So if you like that, give it a like. And we'll see you in episode 2. Peace out.